Hi there, this is Mike Gonzalez with the Green Vigilante Media. Today we're here with Manuel Musquiz, who is running for City Council in Victorville, the city of Victorville. Hi, Manuel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to change the role. So thank you for everything you've done.
Excellent. You're pretty young. How old are you over there? You're a young candidate.
Yes, I'm 27 years old, and I feel like the most experience that I have is you know what? Let's ignore that one. Actually, yes, I'm young. I'm very young, 27, but I'm ready to take on the role.
Excellent. Hey, so let's go into your background a little bit. Um, You came up through the foster program. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out very young, about 5 years old. My family, I was actually put into the foster care system, where I was given to the government basically control. So yeah, I learned very early on what role government plays in people's life.
Interesting. And then you said you've gone to several different colleges, and there was kind of a financial barrier. Can you tell us about that?
Well, absolutely. I think a lot, just what a lot of people are going through nowadays. I went to multiple schools in the area, in Victor Valley area. Started off, I went a little bit up north, here in California, but everything just seemed it wasn't possible because it was too expensive, first of all, and I kept finding myself taking out loans that I didn't that were going to be expensive to pay back in the end. So I realized that I would rather spend most of my time actually at a library and self teaching, because also I learned that when a person goes to the school, by the time they're in their third year, most of the stuff that they learned in their first year were obsolete. So it was kind of I was getting spending a lot of money to learn these things where later on they weren't going to be useful. So I found it the system that we have here in the United States very not the best system, and I believe we can do better.
Absolutely. And you bring up a very good point. We always talk about the cost of education, um, but also the viability of your education after you graduate, that it may be in an industry that's obsolete. I think that's something that's overlooked.
Yes, absolutely.
So you worked on the Bernie Sanders campaign and then subsequently on the Jill Stein campaign. Can you tell me what drove you to become politically active?
Well, actually, I was before Bernie Sanders decided to run. I was a small insurance agency owner, and I really just wanted to help the people, and I thought it was in educating. I thought it was educating people. Then I realized, Bernie Sanders was right. We were just going to school to work for the 1% and not actually make a difference for people. So when Bernie Sanders started running, I realized that we needed a huge difference. We needed to make a big difference here in our role, at least in especially in our communities. So with Bernie Sanders, what I did was I told people, let's get out and vote. Let's do what we can, learn. He's telling people, educate yourself. So I did my hardest to give us a president, but many people, they like to stick to what they're used to. So that's why we got who we have.
Absolutely. And then, so do you thought Jill Stein's campaign was a good next step then?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like when Bernie Sanders was cheated out of the primary, I felt, well, what else can I do? I can't just sit around and not let anything get done. So Jill Stein, fighting the right fight. She stuck her neck out to try to take a chance for the United States. So I said, well, let's do our best for her. So I went around the city here in Victorville, telling them, I canvassed for her as a field coordinator. Said it's what's right. The Green Party is the people of the party. Let's follow them. Let's make a difference for the community.
Excellent. And then, so at the city council level, I don't think you need to register as a party, but you are a Green Party, correct?
Absolutely. And I don't understand why they say not to register as a party. I believe that every person still should, give the people an idea of who they stand with, and that's why I stuck with the Green Party, because I want people to know that I believe in peace, planet, and people over profit. And I believe if a candidate runs as a Democrat or Republican, it only shows you what they believe in and who they really are. So yes, I'm running as a Green Party, so that way we can actually make a difference for the Green Party because they plan to make a difference for us people.
Excellent, excellent. So now there's 2 seats available there. Does that mean the top 2 are going to get seats in the city council?
Yes, there's 2 seats available. There's, I believe, about 11 of us running still. After my seat, there'll be 1 seat available for the next person, whoever really wants to make a difference with us for our community. But there's 2 seats. You know, when we think about it, we just gotta find the right people. And if I'm not a winner of one of those seats, that's okay, as long as the person who is a Green Party member who actually wants to make a difference with us. And I'm okay with that.
Excellent, excellent. So let's talk about Victorville. What are the issues facing Victorville right now, and how you would like to go in and make a difference?
All right, great. So think about. So I've learned that here in Victorville we have 25% poverty. 25% of people are in poverty, which means 1 in 4 persons that we know lives in poverty. We're in 2018 in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. There's no reason that should exist. So I believe first thing is tackling poverty and by figuring out how to help the homeless, get them into a better living situation. If they're on drugs, help them by treating it as a disease and helping them actually become a person of society. And then also by helping the working poor who work 40 hours or more a week just to survive. You know, there's no reason, like I said, in 2018 that the working poor should exist. So one thing that a huge thing we're gonna focus on is getting rid of the term working poor and building people into the middle class. And those are some of the most important issues facing Victorville now.
Interesting. So how do you think we can do that? Where can we get the money, and what program can we implement to do that?
Great. So that question, where do we get the money, to me is one of the silliest questions that I keep hearing because, like I said, we live in the wealthiest country in the world. We literally print our own money, so there's no reason for us to have a need for money. But if we don't want to use the taxpayers' money that are already coming in, we can create new money. It's very simple to not create money by printing it, by holding events that will bring in money. Here in Victorville, there was one event that was supposed to bring into the city just about $3.5 million. But the city council members that are there now don't allow it to happen. And that is silly. So we can constantly bring in new money to the city by holding these events, by educating people on why these events are being held and what they can do for us. But it starts with the city council members, and our mayor getting out of our way.
Interesting.
Yes. So you had also mentioned which programs would we be implementing.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is to bring back the middle class, or to make the middle class bigger again. We want to create jobs, well-paying jobs, and we can do that with green jobs to combat climate change. So it's very simple. We can find innovators in our city to figure out how we can use solar more, or to figure out how we use other sources of clean energy. And there are tons of jobs in those fields, and not even just in the tech field, in those fields, in the administration and all of that. There's so many jobs to be made, and climate change is one of the worst crises humans have faced. So why not tackle that situation at the same time as creating millions of jobs that are well paying for us? So it's very simple. Like I said, it's very simple to do what we need to do. And people just have to stop asking those questions of how do we fund it? What are we going to do? Because we know what we need to do. The Green New Deal has been set and ready for us to be used for a while now, and we can. And it's very simple. Like I said, very simple to take care of the situations that we need.
Excellent. I agree. I think you also advocate for a basic income.
Yes, absolutely. Just like Martin Luther King did back when he was telling people, it's the best way to make sure that we rise people out of poverty and make sure that doesn't happen again. And even Elon Musk has been saying, since AI is going to take over a lot of jobs, the best way to combat that situation is by using universal income. And basic income is very simple. It works. People, they're using it in other countries. Even in Stockton, which is one of California's most poverty-stricken cities since the 2009 crash, since the Wall Street decided they wanted to make things, easier for people. So since Stockton is even this fall making things about or implementing universal income. So if they can do it, there's no reason we can't do it here in Victorville.
Excellent. And then you talk about improving downtown Victorville. Can you tell us some of the problems that exist down there and what you would like to see?
Yeah, well, first the biggest problem is all the empty buildings. We have our downtown. Any city is always the main place to go. It's where the economy grows. It's where things happen. But our city, in downtown Victorville, it's empty. There's buildings that are just boarded up. Glass is broken. I was actually walking down there the other day, and I was just looking at it. It could be such a thriving place, such a place for it can be such a hot spot. But nobody wants to do anything. They just want to complain about the homeless that are there. And there are a lot of homeless. I understand that. But that's what happens when you board up buildings and leave them unoccupied for so long. The homeless and the mentally ill, they're going to go stand around those areas because they have nowhere else to go, and these buildings are empty anyways. So that's a huge problem. Is what we can do is fill those buildings, and then we can take care of the people there at the same time as building those buildings. We can do that very simply.
Excellent. And then you also talked about treating addiction as a condition, and I think that goes back to the homeless crisis for people who have addictions. But you're also in favor of cannabis, the legalization, and using that to also create income.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannabis and hemp is a huge field for new income. There's no reason we're not using it. The only reason we're not using it is because people are uneducated on what it does for our body, our mind, and the world. But that's what we're going to focus on. We don't want to just shove cannabis and hemp down people's throat because they don't understand it. When we inform them properly and educate them on what it can do, then they will understand and move forward and using cannabis and hemp to making lives better for all of us.
Great. Let me ask you this. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. How about housing? Right now, there's a push to repeal Costa-Hawkins. What's your views on rent and affordable housing?
Well, affordable housing is extremely important. There's no reason that it's just like a basic right, just like basic income, basic health care. There should be no reason that we have to pay so much. Somebody should have to pay their whole income just to live in one place. It doesn't make sense. So we are going to work on rental control for the individuals who are paying rent. And what we're going to do is actually give them a path to actually becoming a homeowner. Here in Victorville, we only have about 54% of people who own homes, and it doesn't make any sense. We can own homes better. We just got to put people on to be able to have the opportunity to buy these homes, and then go from there. I think home ownership is much more important than renting. But what we will do is make sure that renting is at least affordable for those who do need it.
Excellent. Another thing it sounds like is important to you is suicide awareness. Is that an issue in your city? Is suicide an issue in your city, and how would you help that issue?
All right, so suicide is an issue everywhere. And the worst part is suicide is 100% preventable, but nobody talks about it. All we have to do is sit down, find people who actually support us, and figure out how to make our minds healthier again. 4 out of 5 people who commit suicide have committed suicide because of a temporary illness, temporary mental illness. And so, like I said, we can prevent it 100% by talking about it. So many lives have been lost to something so simple. And it's usually over something that is so temporary but the thing is nobody knows that. They don't really know that. If we were able to tell people, listen, the situation that you're going through that makes you think about suicide is temporary. Please just think more about it. Let's figure it out. let's become healthy together. Then when we can prevent suicide 100%. So September is Suicide Awareness Month, and that's what I want to focus my campaign on, is healing people's mind and actually making the change that we talk about starting now. Starting now so we can actually, because without people, we don't have a city. The people make the city. But what happens if all of our people, because of the role government plays, and not just the role, but all the other situations in life, people just end up killing themselves? There's no reason to that. We can be a better society for our people and for generations to come.
It sounds like you want to run a compassionate campaign.
Absolutely.
I like that. Also, to pay for some of these issues or to find financing for these issues, I've heard that a public bank is a good option. What's your opinion on public banks?
I think public banks are great. I think the banks that are corporatized by the feds, whoever owns them, they only do things to make things worse for the people. They're out for profit, and the people use the bank because they think it's a safety net for them, so that way they have access to what they need. But the banks that we have, Bank of America, especially Bank of America, taking rights from immigrants, it doesn't make sense. They have no right to do what they do. I believe that we can use community banks in the city to help us to fund what we need and to be our safety net. There's no reason that we have the banks that are like Wells Fargo. We know what Wells Fargo did just last year or so, and we can't allow that anymore. It's time that we use public banks in all communities.
Yeah, it's funny to me that if somebody steals from a bank, they get 10 years in prison. But if the bank steals from us, nothing happens to them.
Yeah, they get a retirement with a huge pension.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, and that's why I'm saying the banks. There's nobody out. There's nobody looking out for us. We as a community are our own heroes, and it takes us as a community to make a difference together for each other.
Excellent. So I certainly like your Green New Deal strategy. I think it's a good strategy for any community in our nation as well. So Manuel, do you have help out there? Do you have people working with you on your campaign?
I don't have as much help as I would like. Being the passionate person that I am, I think I've gotten people to realize that I think they believe that I'm gonna do it all on my own. So because of how passionate I am about things. But I do wish that I could find some more green supporters who just want to, make the difference with me. And I'm not asking for a lot of support from people. I know we can win this race on very little campaign funds, and we can win this race with just spreading the word. That's all we need. But what we're gonna do is, I do have a few supporters who go door knocking with me, who have made some phone calls with me. But I do wish that we can have because I want a community where we're actually all working together. I do wish that we had a lot more people from the community to stand up with me to actually make a difference together with me. With us, and like I said, it takes us to make a difference.
Yeah, so if people wanted to contribute to your campaign, donate money, or volunteer with you, how can they do that? Do you have a website or a Facebook page?
I have all. You can find me on all social medias, but I do have a website. It's Musquiz for Change. My last name, Musquiz, forchange.nationbuilder.com. So you can find me there again, musquizforchange.nationbuilder.com. You can find what we stand for, my platform, what we believe in, and you can learn a lot of information actually about universal income. You can learn about suicide awareness on my website. But again, you can find me on all social media. Find me on Twitter. Let's have a conversation, and let's change the world together.
Excellent. Well, how big is the Green Party out there?
Actually, I haven't got a lot of support. Not a lot that I haven't got the support, but I haven't found a lot of Green Party members out here, or Green Party support groups. I know the closest one was down in Yucca Valley, which is about an hour or so away from me. Mm-hmm. So we don't have one, but I know with this campaign we can actually make a support group we can make a Green Party support group, so that way we can actually have the Green Party constantly in Victorville and spreading the awareness of what the Green Party stands for, which is people, peace, and planet over profit.
Excellent, Manuel. I appreciate you running. I like your platform. I like the issues you're running for. And I thank you for doing this interview, and I thank you for running for office on again, that platform.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. It takes people like you to actually make a difference. And I know, again, together we can all make the difference.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Manuel.